the main line that's back to the west. These are going to be the ones we'll have to watch for the best tornado potential. Joe?
Yeah, 100%. And they're just looking at radar. The storms that are just a little bit to the south and west of the Des Moines metro, starting to move towards Winterset. These are kind of along the cold front, and we are not as concerned about severe weather with these, but they could produce some small hail here and there, and that's pretty much it. But as Chris mentioned, it's really those storms in northern Missouri right now moving into southern Iowa that are going to be the most concerning.
Yeah, it certainly is, Joe. They're kind of out in their own little environment, and that's going to be where the warm and more unstable air is at play. Here's a look at the thunderstorm energy along with the radar. I want to pull that in for you just so you can get a good view of it. It's that lone cell that's kind of out into the best energy all by itself, and that is severe warn just south of the Decatur County line. Just butting right up towards Lamoni. It's that cell there south and east of Lamoni, Canesville, Pleasanton. So heads up in Wayne County. That one's going to be crossing the line here soon. And there's been a bit of weak rotation all about this activity as we've gone through the afternoon, albeit very weak. It is what we're going to be watching for that possibility of spinning up something stronger. It's been a slow burn so far. What you're seeing here on screen in this red shading, this is what we call a mesoscale discussion, and this is what the Storm Prediction Center is watching for the area to see a watch. In fact, they think a tornado watch is going to be likely at some point this afternoon, and I think now that we have our first warning, this is going to progress a little bit more quickly than maybe prior. At this juncture, we don't have any current watches at play, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning down here in the southern part of the state, and northern part of Iowa. Joe?
Hey, Chris, just real quick here. National Weather Service in Des Moines said just 2 minutes ago that they are coordinating a tornado watch that will cover the southern and eastern part of the central Iowa coverage area.
Okay, so that's kind of what we're waiting for here. Is that tornado watch to become apparent. And I think we're going to see it encompass kind of in that red circle that I showed you a little bit earlier. Southern and southeastern Iowa especially. I would say east of I-35 and south of a line from about Creston to Indianola to Grinnell to Cedar Rapids has that best opportunity to see severe weather. The day one severe weather outlook has been tightened up on that northern gradient. I fully agree with this. I think this is a perfect placement. Slow building across southern Iowa as storms go, and with each passing moment, they become stronger and stronger and more liable to put down those larger storm risks. As we take a look at the tornado risk here that we have for today, getting into that low to medium category as we go brown to yellow across southeastern Iowa. Notice that does include some of our local counties like Mahaska. We get into Keokuk, Wapello, down into Davis County as well, included on that. So as these storms continue to progress, I fully expect us to continue to build. One thing I do want to track here down just south of the state line is, and there we have our first severe thunderstorm warning here of the afternoon. That is going to be for Decatur and Wayne counties in southern Iowa. 1-inch diameter hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. The threat is still south of the state line at this point, just north of Canesville. The one thing I do want to do is show you the velocity picture here. And here's that little bit of rotation I've been telling you about. So near Lindley, just south of the Decatur County line into northern Missouri. So there is some broad rotation. What we'd be looking for is tight and bright. I like to use that the adjectives to describe those as when they start peaking right next to each other. That's when we have the best opportunity to see that tornado risk rise. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for southern Iowa at this point, Decatur and Wayne County. Joe, how quickly is that storm moving?
This storm is moving at around, I believe it's around 45 to 50 miles per hour.
I got 40 miles per hour. You want to go ahead and give a track for the folks at home here for this?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get a track on this guy here. Let me make sure I've got the 40 miles per hour, which I do.
So hail and wind is the primary threat at this point.
Yeah, not seeing anything, majorly concerning in terms of rotation just yet.
Okay, so you see some of those estimated times of arrival there on screen. As this one continues, Corydon's going to be on an influence on that, right, Joe?
Yes, 100%. 142 for Morgan. Woodland, 149, High Point, 155, and then just continuing on that northeasterly track. Just 60 mile per hour winds and some hail with this one. It's kind of that main concern at the moment.
So we're kind of getting into that base level severe thunderstorm at this point. And we still have the threat largely south of the Missouri-Iowa state line. Right now over Lindley, there is some decent mid-level rotation being hinted at. Now, this radar beam at this level, that's hanging out, let's see, that's about 7,000 feet above the surface. So there's a lot that can happen underneath that, but there is some mid-level rotation happening there. I don't see anything too grand as you move out into Ringgold and Union counties with those storms. I think the key storm to watch, or storms, if there's another one that gets going, are going to be these cells that are running out ahead and kind of in their own territory. So this is going to be the area to watch as we continue on.
Yeah, that's where we've got the greatest amount of energy. That's where the temperatures have really risen up, and there's been a little bit of sunshine coming out there too. So all of those different factors kind of are aiding in our thoughts of those storms being the most concerning.
Okay, so I'm going to bring you back over here to my radar and show you what we're looking at for possible hail here. And again, this is just south of the border. And our radar software is saying up to 0.8 inches in diameter, but the warning up to 1 inch in diameter. So we're kind of talking the same general notion here as it pertains to these cells. Again, moving to the north and to the east at 40 miles per hour. So estimated times of arrival coming up on screen. Lindley at 150, Marion at 158. Allerton getting into Wayne County at 221. Corydon by 227. Promise City, if this one continues to hold as it gets closer to Appanoose County, by 238. So there certainly is some hail prospects out of that. I think the wind component isn't really jumping off the screen at me at the moment as it pertains to the velocity signals, but you never know with these storms. They can certainly send down a draft of wind rather sharply. Still hinting at some of those areas of rotation around Lindley. And again, that's going to be on the broad scale. We'd be looking for the brightest of the reds and the brightest of the greens being right next to each other with a sharp ramp up in between. So some mid-level rotation being noted in here with these the storm into north central Missouri, and it is certainly headed into southern Iowa. Yeah, looking back to the west on some of those other storms as we get a new radar scan in here, there's nothing really else jumping off the screen to me at this point of concern. And Joe, why don't you take us through kind of the thought process here as why we're not blowing up into these huge explosive storms right now?
Yeah, so it really what we didn't see develop today is a cap on the atmosphere. And so what that causes is just very, very gradual building of thunderstorm activity. And if we were to have a cap, so think of it, you got a lid on something, and eventually if we, when we break that cap, it's kind of like it just pops off and the storms pop off along with it. Not the same situation today. It's been a gradual thing because there hasn't been a cap. And so that's why it took a little bit for these storms to kind of build a little bit. Now, the storms that can start to kind of sustain and continue to keep updrafts, really starting to build them, those are the ones that are going to become a little bit more concerning in terms of tornado-producing cells, because these storms are also going to be very low to the surface, very low to the ground, not very high up. So any rotation that does begin towards the base of those storms, it won't take much for it to drop down and become potentially that funnel cloud and tornado.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's kind of a murky scenario right now as we look outside over West Des Moines in that box just above my head. I think the Des Moines Metro, you're kind of riding right on the edge. You'll have a narrow window of opportunity of perhaps running into this isolated severe risk between about 2 and 2:30 or so. That's going to be it. So anyone back west of this line of storms, say running from Mount Ayr over through Creston and west of Winterset and Adel, you're in the clear for the rest of the night. This is it. Basically, anyone out ahead of these advancing storms, I'll go ahead and loop things over the last hour, and we'll get a sense on just where these storms are going to be going, kind of their trajectory. So continue to watch down there into Decatur and Wayne County, but then next in line would be Lucas County if this storm continues to be severe. So just quickly, I want to show you the temperatures that we have. It's going to actually show you the heat index in there too. Not that that's anything significant, but I do want to drive home the point that you need to see the warmth before we are going to see anything severe in your area. So if you make the upper 60s and low 70s, there's that chance that you will run into that strong to severe thunderstorm. So basically, as I was mentioning here earlier, from about Creston to Indianola to Grinnell and then Cedar Rapids, anywhere south of that white line today is going to have the best opportunity for seeing severe thunderstorms. Looks like we do have our tornado watch out here. Joe, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this tornado watch is going to go until 8 o'clock this evening, and
doesn't quite have Des Moines in it, it looks like, but it will be. And what I mean by that, the Des Moines National Weather Service. It does look like Polk County will officially be in on this. There it is as it pops up on screen now, and our watch is now complete. This lasts until 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and just, and this is all things that we have been discussing so far, but just to give a few more details on the tornado watch itself. Tornadoes, a few tornadoes likely, hail, scattered hail up to 2-inch in size and diameter possible, and scattered wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour likely with the storms that are going to be within this tornado watch area.
Okay, so as we come back to me, and I'm actually going to bring you in a little more full screen. Here's that tornado watch. And Joe, just don't forget to use that 2024 Tegna palette. That'll be your friend here as we continue to track severe weather going forward here through the afternoon. Lots of products at our disposal. I want to take you back to the warning that we have down south. And there's some signal of some decent rotation now starting to come across along the state line. So why don't I show you that here? This would be between about Pleasanton and Lineville, about halfway away south of Morgan. So this is kind of that brighter and tighter that I'm telling you about. So we're starting to see things tighten up a little bit here. My concern is increasing just a little bit more for that tornadic potential down there coming in out of Decatur and then soon, shortly after, into Wayne County. So this storm, and we've been watching this, Joe, we've been talking about this since before we even took the stream, that this would be the storm to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And something else too, as this storm continues to move into more of southern Iowa here, it's going to be coming into a little bit better focus in terms of radar. It's kind of sitting in that little bit of a radar hole that is kind of in northern Missouri and southern Iowa, and sometimes that just means we don't get the greatest view of the storm details, but as it continues moving northeast, we'll start to be able to see things a little bit more clearly as it gets slightly closer to the Des Moines radar.
Yeah, that's absolutely the truth. We're sampling pretty high up. at this point. In fact, about 1.5 miles up in the atmosphere is where we're looking at this radar beam down near the Missouri border. There's that area of rotation I was telling you about. This is estimated times of arrival. Lineville, 1:55, so just in a few minutes. Clio at 2:02. Allerton pushing a little bit further to the north and east by 2:11. And then we're looking at Cordon and Russell next in line. Russell way up in Lucas County. That will take a while to get to you, but the storm is taking more of a northerly track. One thing I always watch when we're talking about discrete thunderstorms, excuse me while I have to click off here and get all the mess off the screen. One thing when watching these discrete thunderstorms, I'm always looking for kind of the right-hand turn, and so often that means that these storms are kind of biting into that updraft. Okay, so that's in production. I have a mix minus issue. Thank you. So when it takes that little bit of a right-hand turn, that is usually a signal that the storm is strengthening and something to watch out for. Okay. I do think there's a hail core just starting to cross over into Iowa, basically between Lineville and Pleasanton at this point, right where you see that deepest, darkest purple. So Morgan, that just popped up on screen, that's where we're going to find that. Joe, you want to go over the kind of the hail sizing that we're seeing with this system?
Yeah, let's take a look at that. And the hail here looks like it might be a scan behind as far as exactly where that hail core is. However,
yeah, it usually is.
Yeah, however, we can get a look at that, and from what I'm seeing here, looks like about 1.25 inches according to radar.
Okay.
And whether that is reaching the ground or not, well, we would have to wait for a little storm report by anyone out of Morgan, but Morgan right now is probably getting in. We're getting in on some hail in Morgan right now.
Okay. That's what we're looking at. I am going to see if we can slice this and check out and see if there's any hail potential. Give me 2 seconds while I set this up for you to go ahead and do this slice in here. But it will give us a pretty good indication of what we are dealing with. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull out the 3D volume out of this. Whoop, I have the wrong. 1 second here. I need to switch a couple of things here just so we can see this. Give me 1 moment, bear with me. Load it in, the hail core, there we go. So this is quite literally a 3D volume slice of the atmosphere here. And I am actually going to change this to take out even a couple of more of the reds here. No, not that one. Looks like that's what we're going to get out of this. I'm going to back things up a couple of scans. You can see it building up right here. See how it pulses up in the sky? And now we're waiting for it to fall. So that updraft has strengthened, kicked that ice core up in the sky, and it's still holding up there. Now, still, some could be falling, don't get me wrong, but it's at least holding and building more. And so when you hold it, that's when it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Of course, it's cold way up high. So southeastern Decatur County right now looks like there's a decent hail core up there. In fact, just off screen, I'm using another piece of radar software. It's estimated up to 1.25 in diameter, and that's what we're going to be watching out of this. So that was a 3D slice into what we're looking at. There is going to be a few storms coming into the Des Moines metro as we continue on in the next 30 minutes. And you do look at that screen above me, and we'll go ahead and just take that full. That's going to be our West Des Moines Sky Tracker 5, and you see it's kind of murky. We haven't seen the warmth. I think at last check the temperature was 52. That warmth is likely going to be just off to the southern edge of the Des Moines metro. And we're going to continue to see that severe threat pass by just off the southeastern edge. I don't want to give the absolute all clear for the metro here with this, because I'm not 100% on that. But I do think there's going to be more activity further to the south, as we've been talking about. So this one storm continues to be the one of interest, severe thunderstorm warning until 2:30. That's going to be for Decatur and Wayne County. The storm's moving north and east at 40 miles per hour.
And this storm is still on its own, Chris. So this storm, as long as it continues to be kind of by itself, it's not competing with any other storms for, energy in the atmosphere, along this area. And so this will just kind of continue to strengthen and continue to just might end up being a little bit longer lived of a cell, just because it is still on its own at this point.
Yeah, right you are. There is still some broad rotation with this cell as it approaches Clio, Lineville and Clio, but it's not as bright as that green was just a few minutes ago. I'll back up the scan. A few scans, and we'll see. Right about here is where we started seeing things a little bit brighter. It's still trying to rotate. That is a signal of a rotating storm. It's just not quite to the extent of being a tornadic circulation at this point. There's one scan I'm not seeing at this point. I think it's kind of skipping over the data as we're in a particular radar mode at this point. But there was one, if you remember, on the stream about 5 minutes ago. There was one little signal where there was trying to tighten up just a little bit. Joe, you want to talk about what's happening up near the Des Moines Metro and that little line that's pushing through?
Yeah. So, a lot of times with these lines, we watch for, some of these kinks in this line to watch for stronger winds, but it's just not a situation, thankfully, that, we are concerned about this one in particular in terms of, becoming severe and producing very strong winds. But I do want to get a little bit of a track on this one, likely moving at a pretty similar speed to some of those cells in southern Iowa. That's an interesting drawing, but hey, it still works. So here's kind of a general idea of when this kind of line of storms is going to be moving in. So, lightning, some thunder, things of that nature. Winds possibly, a quick gust up to 35, 40 miles per hour. Certainly not out of question with this one. Moving into Waukee here, actually pretty shortly. We've got a couple minutes here before that heavier rainfall starts to come down. 158 for Waukee. St. Mary's at 204, 206, getting into Grimes. So just kind of going to be moving across the Des Moines Metro over the next it'd be about an hour and a half here. And once that moves through, then, Chris, give me your thoughts if you have any different thoughts here. But once this moves through, this is kind of with the cold front. And so the Des Moines Metro might be a little bit more in the clear after this line moves on through.
Yeah, that's going to be the case, Joe. Anything west of that line running north and south is going to be in the clear. Looks like Creston did gust to 37 miles per hour as that storm moved through, and 40 just south of town. So these aren't any slouch of a storm. It's a decent little rumble of thunder moving through. It's going to stir up the wind just a little bit as well, as we saw sliding through Union County there, Creston. You see 40 and 37 miles per hour respectively. Not quite to Osceola, but we'll watch and see how some of these gauges react. Looks like Lamoni didn't really get a direct impact from a cell until just right now. So we'll see how that goes. But 22, 28 miles per hour there. And unfortunately don't have any gauges down into the southeastern Decatur County area. So just to recap things, we do have a tornado watch in place until 8 o'clock over the southeastern part of the state. Officially, Des Moines and Polk County is included on this. However, that window of opportunity is very, very small. The best of the parameters definitely lining up to the south. What I have plotted here is the thunderstorm energy in tandem with the radar, and you can see the clear breadwinners to which we're going to be watching going forward with this down in that southern side, particularly anything that tries to get going out in advance with this one. Severe thunderstorm warning until 2:30, Decatur and Wayne County. This is radar indicated. Let's talk about the hail. We've been seeing a signal for up to about an inch diameter hail. The latest scan is a little bit under that right now at about 0.8. We'll see how this one is showing here as a sampling on screen for you. So yeah, 0.7, that's what we're looking at. Was a little bit more robust here. There you go, as it crossed over the state line. And that's about the time we were slicing this one up and saying that there's some larger hail potential in there down towards Morgan, up to about 1.2 inches, I believe, at its maximum. And it looks like it might be falling to the ground now out of that one, and maybe losing a little bit of its potency when it comes to that hail. This severe thunderstorm warning in northern Missouri is essentially done now. This is going till 2 o'clock. We have 1 more minute on it, so that will go away. Mercer County is going to expire on time at 2 o'clock, and then we focus in on this one storm.
It's kind of got a messier look to it now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does just a little bit, Joe. It's not 100% as strong as it was, say, about 10 or 15 minutes ago.
Now something else that
go ahead and just click off it and go back to the radar, Joe, and it will clean up for you. Sometimes it has a tendency to plot those watches too when you click between presets. Just a glitch, but unfortunately one we have to live with.
Yeah, so now that we're kind of seeing this original developing, and kind of the first storm that moved into any part of Iowa that had severe capability. Now we're going to be just continuing to watch things like this storm that's down by Unionville, Missouri, just continuing to watch for any development out ahead of where the cold front is, because it's still pretty much untapped as far as the atmospheric energy there, and it's continuing to be in the warm sector, which was always the concern today, that storms that developed within the warm sector were going to have the ability to produce the damaging wind gusts, hail that can be up over an inch in diameter, and also begin to start to rotate a little bit and potentially produce or at least start a tornado concern. So that storm down by Unionville, Missouri, moving up towards and eventually moving towards Centerville, Iowa here. This one has strengthened over the last couple of radar scans. It's nothing that is massive at this point in time, but it would not shock me in the slightest to see that strengthen as it continues to move up into southern Iowa.
And Joe, I want to make mention, we have team coverage, not just the two of us, but we also have chasers out in the field that we'll take if we have anything interesting to show for you. So we're here for you. We're going to be tracking these storms as they move through central Iowa. Of course, we will have Local 5 tonight at 5 and 6, but I believe by about 5 o'clock, we're going to have most everything out of the Local 5 coverage area. So I do want to thank you for joining us. No matter how you're watching, we're streaming in multiple locations. We are Iowa Plus, of course. We are Iowa.com. We are streaming on YouTube and Facebook as well. Multitude of locations. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have anything you want to share with us, go ahead and just text us. Any reports that you have, any photos, videos. Of course, we want you to be safe through this all. But if you want to text us any information, feel free to do so. That's 515-457-1026. That's going to be the best way to get information to us as we continue on through the afternoon. And the more information we can pass along, that's going to be better for everyone that's out there across southern Iowa tonight. I think this threat is going to be south and east of Des Moines as we continue on through about 5 o'clock. Joe?
Yeah, and something something that I'm kind of looking at. I'm just looking at the latest run of one of the weather models that we use in severe weather situations, the HR.
Okay.
And it continues to show now that I'm actually going to kind of circle an area here. So the HR continues to show a little bit more storm development within this kind of pink circle here. And over the next 2-3 hours, if we do see any storms develop in this area here and see more like what's going on down in Unionville, Missouri at this point in time, continuing that concern for all severe weather threats with those storms as they continue to move through the greatest area of instability and the warmest temperatures and everything that we have kind of seen develop since about 11 o'clock this morning. Because Chris, it was still in the 40s for most of central Iowa, towards around midday at 11 o'clock. So temperatures rose pretty quickly across southern and southeastern Iowa.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll check in on those temperatures in just a second. Again, here's that number if you want to share any reports with us. That's 515-457-1026. 515-457-1026. So we still have this severe thunderstorm warning down into Decatur and Wayne County. It's lost a bit of its luster, I will say. I'll go back and show the velocity here. There is still some rotation, but it's not peaked up into anything too strong. What I'll actually do here is kind of sample the winds so you can get a sense on just how strong those winds are. And we're talking 15 miles per hour contrasted by 30 miles per hour. So 45 is going to be the distance. 15 and 15 at that scan. Okay, so it just depends on, what pixel you're really looking at, but let's just call it 30 to 40 miles per hour. And we're talking a distance here that's going to be over about 4 miles. So that would fall under the classification of what I would say is going to be fairly weak rotation in the grand scheme of things. So continuing to track the development across southern Iowa, it's been a slow progression. I think that's what we've gone into this expecting over the last 24 hours, 12 hours or so. That's been the banter between the Local 5 Weather Impact Weather team here as we've gone through the day, is kind of a slower progression. We just don't have that lid on the atmosphere today. So these storms have been building for several hours now. Back when they were in Kansas, at least that line has been building for quite a while. I will show you that loop here. Okay, I'll show you that loop. We'll go back a few hours and show you how these storms have progressed. See that line, that's the last 3. Let's go the last 5 hours and get a sense how this has happened. So they have struggled to grow in that big upscale way over the last couple of hours. I still think it can get it done as we continue to see warmth spread into the state. You can see that clearing that's taking over parts of southeastern Iowa, especially towards Ottumwa, Centerville, Bloomfield, Sigourney, over through Oskaloosa. There's been some clearing, and correspondingly, there has been some warmth added too. So why don't...
They just extended that severe thunderstorm warning farther northeast.
Okay, we'll get to that here in just a second. So those temps are warming 60s and 70s in southeastern Iowa. Des Moines is at 55. I just don't think that's going to be enough to get things done. It will be a little bit on the loud side, a little bit raucous for you as this one slides through. And as Joe mentioned, this one has been extended. Joe?
Yeah, this is now including parts of Appanoose, Lucas, Monroe, and Wayne counties. Everything's still radar indicated, and continuing with the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail potential as this storm continues to move to the northeast. I believe it's still moving northeast at around 40 miles per hour. And yes, it is.
Yeah, so, just one quick little clarification, Joe, not to correct you, but the hail potential is just no longer there. It's less than 3/4 of an inch. So we're really only concerned with the wind at this point. But why don't you go ahead and put a track on this one? Let's talk about who's next to see this and how people should stay safe with this.
Yeah, so if you are anywhere within kind of the path of the center of this storm, let's put this northeast here. So here are some of the locations that will be impacted. So if you're anywhere within this, from Corden, and is it Corden, Chris?
It is Corden.
Corden. Millerton, Bethlehem, Russell, Melrose. These are all areas that are going to have the kind of best chance to have not just the strongest wind gusts that this storm could produce, upwards of 60 mile per hour wind gusts, but also a hail that is just under quarter size, so just under 1 inch in diameter. And with both of those, it's good that you know that this storm is on the way with the severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued here. And just if you are out and about and can get home soon, not a bad idea. If you, I know it's still kind of the middle of the day here, so maybe you're still at work, wherever you may be. Good to just stay inside over the next, kind of half hour, 45 minutes here as the storm continues to move through, just given the fact that it can produce the 60 mile per hour wind gusts and a little bit of that hail too. Never fun to be out in any of those conditions. So staying inside, that's kind of the best advice that we've got as far as just staying safe from these storms as they continue moving through.
Thanks, Joe. Looking outside on West Des Moines Sky Tracker 5, we're getting some heavier rain here at the studio, so that's a look outside as this next little line does move through and closer into the metro. This is it. Anyone behind this line, you're good for the rest of the afternoon, so anyone west of Highway 169, you're in the clear of any severe weather threats. Our lone severe thunderstorm warning is down over southern Iowa. This goes until 2:45 for Lucas, Wayne, Monroe, and Appanoose counties, and moving to the north and east at about 40 miles per hour right now. I would also start to watch this cell heading in out of Unionville towards Appanoose County as well. That looks like that one might be peaking up to be a little bit stronger. Wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a warning on that, especially considering kind of the hail signature we're looking at with that one. There is some signal that there's some hail that's built up just in the last couple of scans, and this data is a little bit delayed sometimes in getting to us, but that little pulse, if I check back here in a couple minutes, that's going to be larger. I am seeing kind of a hail signal develop out of that cell just across the border into Unionville, towards Unionville. Apologies, I'm not familiar with the counties just across the border at this point. So Unionville, Missouri, and pushing to the north towards Appanoose County. I don't like necessarily the structure of this storm anymore, Joe, as it pertains to as it approaches Corden, though there is some broad rotation happening overhead. So Corden, take note of that. Stay away from those windows as always as this activity does move through. Those strong winds, this is warned for 60 miles per hour, though this is radar indicated. We haven't really seen any reports of that. That can take debris through your window at any point. So we want you to stay safe, and we'll be here to track things along with you. Joe?
You can really hear the rain coming down here at the station.
Yeah, it is
now.
coming down pretty good.
But yeah, like you mentioned, Chris, that cell that's now starting to move north of Unionville, wouldn't be shocked to see that get severe warned, sometime soon here. It just looks, it's starting to get that look of, producing some decent hail, and still want to continue to watch this storm as it's moving over Corden right now. Because as you mentioned, Chris, that rotation, it's still there. It just hasn't been strong enough, hasn't been tight enough that, we're getting really concerned in that regard. And also, this storm just does not have the kind of same amount of, doesn't have the same sort of look that it did just a little bit ago. And so something else that's kind of interesting that I want to point out here, likely with this storm that's north of Unionville, this is a really good showcase of how strong the winds are above the surface. That storm is likely kind of just confined right in here, just north of Unionville. Everything that you see that extends all the way up towards Centerville, that's wind above the atmosphere, or above the surface, excuse me, that is really just extending the kind of cloud base, or the anvil of this storm, extending it really far to the northeast. That is something that we knew was going to be the case today, the shear, so the strength of wind, and there's that severe thunderstorm warning. We knew that would be kind of coming into play, and sure enough, there it is. It has now been issued.
Sure, Joe. On that second row down on your palette, the fifth item over, L2 warn, that will automatically pull up those severe thunderstorm warning details for you. Yeah, so just as we go forward, if you click that, you ever want those warning details in a pinch, that's where we're going to go. And yeah, we certainly see it there. Let's go over some of those details, Joe. What do we have?
Yeah, so this storm is producing 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and is also has the potential to produce quarter-size hail. And this warning is going to continue until 3 o'clock. And let's put a track on this. And again, want to focus on where that the most likely area of where that hail could be coming down. And let's just take this straight to the northeast. And this one is still moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Let me double check that. No, this one's really picked up in speed. I'm going to take off the track that I've currently drawn here and change the speed. This one's moving northeast. It's really starting to pick up speed, 55 miles per hour now. So the original severe thunderstorm that we had over towards Cordon, that does continue. That one was moving northeast at around 40 to begin with, and now this one is moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So this is a very fast mover. So let's get a track on this here. So Cincinnati, Iowa, 2:22, estimated time of the arrival of not just the hail, but also the wind. That's going to be coming along with this storm. Centerville by 2:30, Rathbun by 2:33, Moravia 2:41. So again, this storm moving very, very quickly. So if you are in the path of this, whether you're at work or at home, make sure getting away from those windows, moving to a little bit more of an interior room of your home that is a little bit away from those outside windows and doors, because quarter-size hail, and especially you get a wind that is really strong, can really whip those hailstones into your home and potentially break some of that glass. So, Chris, this is one that's going to be one that we need to keep a close eye on, just mostly because of the speed. I mean, 55 miles per hour to the northeast, that is a very fast-moving storm.
Yeah, and we have a couple of storms we're keeping an eye on. I'll tell you, they all have areas of rotation. We're going to actually do a quick cut-in on air, too. So if you hear us go silent for a few moments on the stream, just bear with us. We're going to line up and coordinate with jumping on air with a quick cut-in as well, just to discuss. But while we're waiting on that, and production, just jump in my ear when you're good to go, and we'll go. There are multiple areas that are showing at least some rotation here. Just a tiny bit there as that storm crosses the border over Lineville towards Clio, and then on the southern end of that ultimately longer line of storms that goes down I-35. Nothing huge, nothing that I'd be too concerned with tornadic potential. This is the strongest inbound wind, so watch this storm down into southwestern Wayne County. I think that is going to be the best. So as we get going for extended coverage here through the afternoon, we're watching these storms trying to pulse up and get up and involved into that stronger setup. All right, we're going to stand by for a cut in here. Give us 2 seconds. All Hi everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Kubal. I'm tracking severe weather cutting across southern Iowa. I wanted to make you aware of a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that we do have in play across the southern part of Iowa right now. Let's go to the radar picture. We do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings over Appanoose, Lucas, Monroe, and Wayne County until 2:45 for that cell that's just north of Cordon. And then an additional severe thunderstorm warning for Appanoose, Monroe, and Davis County until 3 o'clock. These storms are moving to the north and east at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. I will go ahead and put a track on things for you. Next in line to see this storm coming out of Wayne County. You can see this one will be near Albia, closer to 3 o'clock, and Bussey if it continues towards 3:08. South of Centerville, this storm is moving just a little bit faster. We'll say it's at 45 miles per hour and moving to the north and to the east. Estimated time of arrival in Centerville is 2:31, Moravia at 2:45, and Blakesburg and Ottumwa closer to 3 o'clock and after. These storms all warn for wind and hail opportunities here, but we are tracking some broad rotation as it pertains to each of these cells. Nothing immediately tornadic, but something that we will be tracking as this continues to cut across southern Iowa. If you are west of I-35, your severe threat is done for the day. We're going to be watching this thunderstorm energy out ahead of this line of storms, and in particular, we're going to watch these isolated cells out ahead of this main line, as those will be in the more favorable environment to sustain tornadic development. We do have a tornado watch that is in place until 8 o'clock, though that in mind, the threat for the local 5 area will only extend to about 5 to 5:30 or so before pushing out into the east. This does officially include Des Moines, but your prospects for seeing any severe weather very limited as some rain does continue to slide through. Now, it's been kind of a slow bleed on these thunderstorms, not a big pop in development upwards. And that's one thing that might be holding these storms back just a little bit from developing into something even stronger. That in mind, we will continue to track this scenario for you very closely as we continue on through the afternoon. We are currently streaming right now on We Are Iowa Plus, and we're going to continue the coverage over there on We Are Iowa Plus, as well as our social media pages. But we wanted to give you an update and a chance to join us on that extended coverage. Keep in mind these severe thunderstorm warnings over southern Iowa extend through about the next 45 minutes to an hour or so across southern Iowa. We'll be tracking things behind the scenes here and on We Are Iowa Plus. Hope to see you over there. Stay safe. Okay, we are back with you on the stream. Man, that's slick. This is a kind of a new outfit we're running here today. That's cool. That's fun. I don't know if I posted a picture of kind of the setup that we have going on here for today. And it's neat. And we have Joe out there walking the wall too. He has his setup. This is slick. This is cool. And I'm watching the chaser feeds. We have one chaser in Albia. We have another. Where are we at? Out in the eastern Iowa, I forget where. I'll have to check on that. But Joe, you want to give a synopsis of what we have going on down there in the southern part of the state right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And do just want to quickly mention that we're probably looking at about 8 minutes ago now, there was some very small hail reported 3 miles west of Indianola on Highway 92. So that little line that is that's already moved through Indianola, it's starting to move towards Ackworth, Carlisle, Ford, Sandyville. That has some very small hail involved. But what we do want to kind of focus on are these storms here. These are the ones that are severe warned at this time. And let me get the timing of these here. And this one is that's starting to move a little bit closer to Centerville. This one is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 3 o'clock. And this one that is back a little bit farther to the west, this one continues until 2:45, so we got a little bit of time here. Let's get a track on both of these, and in fact, I do want to take a look at the latest in terms of the velocity to look for any sort of rotation. It's still very similar to what it has been over the past, I'd say really last half hour. Very similar rotation. It's persistent, but it's not enough that we are concerned about a tornado at this point in time and at this juncture with this particular storm. However, I do want to get a track on this one for you. Let me go back to radar, get the warning polygons up here. And so this storm continues off to the northeast, and we'll say 40 miles per hour for this one. And going to take it from the core of this storm here. Take this out. So 241 Melrose, Tyrone at 248, and Consul at 251. And so these are areas that here's kind of what you can expect with this. The storm is likely producing some hail a little bit under a quarter size, so a little bit under an inch in diameter, and potential for 60 mile per hour winds as well. This will continue to move off to the northeast, and we'll continue to monitor this one's development as we kind of move forward here. But I also want to put a track on. Chris, you got something?
Yeah, I'm going to take over quick because we did get a severe thunderstorm warning pop out for the metro. You can see this is southeastern part of Polk County, Warren County included on that, up into Jasper, and also into Marion County as well. This is kind of a Boeing segment. I'd be concerned with wind out of this one, and we are going to do another short little cut-in on air as well, just to highlight this one as it does impact at least part of the metro. Let's get a look outside on this. The warning is officially south of town. South and east of this vantage point, but certainly something to watch. I'm going to turn the camera to the south and east as we look down that way. Certainly some heavy rain there as we look south of downtown and Des Moines, down the Des Moines River with this one. But this severe thunderstorm warning, the details on it last until 3:15. It does include southeastern Polk County, Warren County, and up into Jasper and Marion County. Eventually. Joe, did you happen to see how fast this one's going?
So this storm is...
Okay, we're cutting in here, Joe.
Yeah, this storm
65.
is moving northeast at 60. This line is moving northeast at 65 miles per hour.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Kubal, tracking thunderstorm once again over southern and central Iowa. A newly issued severe thunderstorm with you. So it does include the southeastern part of Polk County and Des Moines. Here's the details on it, lasting until 3:15. This is going to be including Jasper, Marion counties, and parts of Warren counties as well. This is warned for potential 60 mile per hour winds, and this storm is racing to the north and east at about 60 miles per hour. Estimated time of arrival with this cell in Carlisle by 2:29, so that'll get there in just a couple of moments. Pleasantville by 2:36, Colfax by 2:45, Newton by 2:54, included in on that warning. And then we start to move outside of the warned areas in Sully, Grinnell, and Montour. But be prepared that this may be extended. Have not seen any official words of 60 mile per hour wind gusts, but the potential is showing up there on radar, and we do have a pronounced little Boeing signal and some stronger wind that's butting right up to the back side of the returns. Rear inflow jet kind of accelerating this line out ahead. The tornadic potential is slim with that. Still a trio of warnings down into southern Iowa. Noted here that severe thunderstorm warning for Lucas, Monroe, Wayne, and Appanoose County until 2:45. We have an additional one over Appanoose County until 3 o'clock, also including fringes of Davis and Monroe. And then there is actually another one down into Decatur and Wayne County. And for the next 3 minutes or so, just a slew slew of little thunderstorms now trying to clutter up things in southern Iowa. There is some signal of some broad rotation here with the cell incoming towards Corden. This is the one cell we're going to be tracking for you very, very closely as we continue on. The cell over Appanoose County south of Centerville also exhibiting a bit of rotation, and just south of Russell there's also some broad rotation as well, but none of which are tightened up to the point that we are growing concerned with tornadic possibility, but something we are most definitely tracking. All right, we'll get you back to the program here. If you want to continue with our coverage, we are streaming right now on We're Iowa Plus with storm coverage. Stay safe. All right, we're still with you here on the stream. So that's a new warning. This is warned for wind potential up there. Indianola points to the north and east. So let's check out the wind. It's going to take a second for it to ramp up and get the data on screen. Some small hail certainly possible there.
Hey, Chris, we've got a tornado warning coming.
Okay. Is it going to be for Wayne County?
Yes. It's going to be for Wayne County. There it is. Just issued.
Long form on air now. Thanks. Okay, so let's get to it. Joe, you want to talk about that while I get set? If I tell you to stop here, that's because we're getting ready to jump on air, all right?
Yeah. Yep, sounds good. So, oh wow, the rotation really has spiked with this one. So let me get the show you.
Yeah, that inbound is screaming.
Yeah. So this is a little bit just to the south and west of Corden right now, and I want to show you that velocity because that really tightened up there. So here's a look at where the strongest rotation is. You can see it right here. Now this is just starting to move a little bit to the south of Allerton, Iowa here. And I want to put at least a little bit of a track on this rotation to let you know where could be in this kind of in the threat for a potential tornado. This is radar indicated right now, nothing that has been confirmed on the ground. So if you are in Allerton or any points up towards Highway 2 here, I would say that find that tornado safe space and get into it right now, because this storm continues to show the sign of that very strong rotation, so could potentially produce that.
Joe, I'm taking over. Thank you.
You got it.
And just like that, we're back with you here on Local 5. We're also streaming on We Are Iowa Plus. Severe weather cutting through southern Iowa and a newly issued tornado warning down into Wayne County. If you are in Corden, please seek shelter for a possible tornado. In the production room, if you can keep tabs on our chasers that may be in the area as well, and we'll pull them up if needed. That hook echo just to the south and east of Corden right here, that is the area we are concerned with for a possible tornado, and there is some significant rotation that's built up here in the last couple of scans. So it's now starting to get bright and tight right next to each other. So we have 45 miles per hour inbound to the radar site and 25 away. And you add those together, we have 70 miles per hour of rotation over a short distance. I back things up. I want to see how this has progressed over the last few minutes. And this is incoming to Corden here shortly. I'm joined by meteorologist Joe Farrell. We're team coverage here tonight, and we'll keep you updated. Joe, can you put a track on this cell as it moves to the north and east for those who may be impacted on down the line?
Yeah, 100%. Let me get it. I'm going to take it from where this strongest rotation is and put this to the northeast here. So heading over the next couple of minutes, again, as Chris mentioned, if you're in Corden, Allerton as well, Allerton right now, get into your tornado safe space. This area of rotation is moving pretty much directly over town, or at least just a little bit to the east of town as we speak, heading up towards the Corden area, and then we've got continuation of this storm as it moves northeast. This is going to be just a little bit to the east of Millerton, but some other towns that could potentially be impacted here. Let's see. So Bethlehem, Confidence, just a couple of areas north of Highway 2 over towards Iowa Highway 142. These are locations that I would say start getting ready to go into that tornado safe space, because the storm is, and where that rotation is strongest, is moving your direction and will continue moving off to the north and the east. And it is tight. That rotation's very, very tight. So just to give you a little bit of a better look here, right within this circle, directly over Allerton right now. And that's where the strongest rotation is. Now, this is still radar indicated at this point. Have not seen that anything is on the ground. Nothing confirmed in that regard. But certainly with this strong of rotation, could drop a tornado at any moment in time. So find that safe space. If you're in Harvard, Promise City, again, Corden, these are areas that you need to, if you're located there or near there, seek shelter and get into your tornado safe space. Right now, latest radar scan coming in here, and that continues to show very strong rotation, Chris.
Yeah, and this is almost in perfect position to be looking for that strong updraft unit. Nothing down to the south and east of this storm. Unimpeded flow of that wind coming in. And it'll be interesting to see how this trailing, the flanking line of storms will interact with the cell as it moves through. But for now, as we look at the storm relative velocity, as I pull that back up, this is bright and tight just south and west of Corden. Allerton, safe places now. Corden, can't emphasize this enough. We need to be in our safe places. We do have our chasers out in the field, but as of this point, I'm not seeing anyone in the vicinity of the storm, unfortunately, so we can't get a good live view out in this area. But pulling into Corden here in the next couple of moments, this is moving to the north and east at about 30 miles per hour. So on down the line, some of those other communities next in line to see it. So Corden, just in the next 5 to 7 minutes, I would say. So that's a short amount of time to get to your safe place, low level, most interior room of your dwelling. And then on down the line, New York by 256 Confidence, by 306 Melrose, as it does extend beyond the scope of this warning, by 323 and 333 in Bucknell. Does look like we still have some strong circulation, but it might have broadened up a little bit, but still really peaking at that big time wind, showing 45 miles per hour inbound and then 28 miles per hour outbound. So we're still getting up there 70 to 75 miles per hour. I'm going to actually show you the nominal rotation here, the NROT shear detection. It'll take a second for this data to load in, but there we'll see it. Those blue areas, that's going to be the area that we're watching for the rotation. Notice here how it's kind of skipped forward and it's strengthened. So this is an older return of that, and this is one of the newer ones. As we back things up, you can see how it's progressed and advanced. There's been a few little pulses here and there, but this has been the strongest area of rotation that we have seen so far. Joe?
Yeah, I'm just what I'm taking a look at now is taking a look to see if there's any sort of sign of any debris that's being picked up, which would give us a little bit of a clear picture of if there was a tornado on the ground. Good news is not seeing anything that would indicate to me that that is the case. But this storm does continue to show the signs, as Chris was going through, very strong rotation. So the tornado warning continues, and as this storm continues moving off to the north and east. Let's get another track, see, just go over again who is next in line with this. Corden, be in that tornado safe space. If you're just tuning in with us here, this storm's going to be moving very close to town or through town pretty shortly in just about 3-4 minutes here. Bethlehem, 252, Confidence, Melrose, all next in line with this storm as the rotation is just to the northeast of Allerton at this time. We're going to continue to watch that rotation, and just over the last couple of scans, it's gotten a little bit more broad, but it's still tight enough that it is concerning to us that this could produce a tornado at any moment in time. Got another scan coming in. Yeah, it continues to show that rotation, just not quite as tight as it was a couple of scans ago, but still a dangerous storm as it continues to move off to the northeast. So the tornado warning, again, this is for Wayne County. This is going to be in effect until 3:15. So we will continue tracking this storm to the northeast and continue watching that area of rotation very closely.
Yeah, that rotation is directly overhead of Corden at this moment. So imperative that you're in your safe place with this one. Still fairly broad, but it is strong, especially that inbound wind as that is rushing up to the north and to the west. That red is rushing away. So that's the shearing action we're looking at in the atmosphere, and that can spin up those tornadoes, especially considering the unimpeded flow that's coming in from the south and east with this one. So what I have shown here, this is actually the thunderstorm energy, and notice there is absolutely nothing out in this vicinity south and east of this storm. And we have south winds, easterly winds that are kind of feeding this one, so it's running directly in. One thing we will be watching is, can this bite into the updraft? It does so. Take a little bit of a right-hand turn. And sometimes that can lead to a strengthening overall when it comes to this system overall. So there's also a trio of severe thunderstorm warnings in play as well. One notably for the southeastern edge of the Des Moines Metro in Polk County. You kind of see a rear inflow jet here that can sometimes accelerate those winds. So approaching the Jasper County line, you get towards the Runnels area and extending down just west of Knoxville. Since we can, I am going to take our Knoxville cam as we look up to the north and west into that storm. You can see it's getting dark out there into the horizon. Knoxville's right on the edge of this severe thunderstorm warning, and we'll continue to track that as that storm does move through. So the details on this severe thunderstorm warning, this lasts until 3:15. This is moving quickly to the north and east. I'd put that area of greatest concern just south of Mitchellville, right on the apex of this bow. Then we also have a severe thunderstorm warning that's broader for that Wayne County tornado warned storm, and then also a cell that's out in the open closer to Centerville, and just to the north and east that's warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind potential and hail up to 1 inch in diameter. We'll have to watch that one out in front too. It's the ones out in front of the main line that will possess the best chances for spinning up a tornado at this point. All right, it's been a few moments. Let's go ahead and check out that velocity picture. I will say just coming in from Mercer County down into Missouri as well. We'll have to watch that north of Somerset, that area of rotation, see if it continues to intensify. And then there's also a broad and weaker area of rotation southeast of Melrose as well. In Wayne County right now, it looks like we've broadened things out just a little bit, so that's a good trend. Hopefully we can keep that going. However, pardon me, I'm just looking, I'm hearing some reports of damage in Creston. We'll have to confirm that. Production, if you can pass that on to the newsroom. Agrivision on Highway 34 in Creston has been destroyed. We'll have to work to confirm that for you as well. That's unverified, but it looks like potentially we may have some damage in Creston. In the world we live in now, we have to vet everything that comes in. Computer-generated images, although it looks fairly legit, we will work to verify that for you. Okay, so there are a couple of areas of rotation coming out of Corden and moving to the north and east if you're towards Confidence or Bethlehem, I believe. Be prepared for this area of rotation. It is a tornado-warned storm for the northeastern section of Wayne County. Kind of a messy view there, but you can get that warning box within all the mess that is there. I'll go ahead and take the radar picture off for you so you can get a look at just the warnings we have in place. Is that red one. Does look like we have a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning as well. That is going to be for southern Wayne and northwestern Appanoose County until 3:30. This is radar indicated, a radar indicated thunderstorm, and the threats with this one: hail up to 1.25 inches in diameter and 60 mile-per-hour winds. Joe, anything you have for me?
Looks like this storm that it just got the severe thunderstorm warning, Chris. This one, and you mentioned it briefly too. This one's also beginning to rotate a little bit, and the rotation has gotten at least a little bit tighter here over the last couple of scans, kind of right in this area here, starting to cross over the Iowa and Missouri border. We're going to continue to watch that storm very closely. Do want to take you back up to the tornado warned cell, and that area of rotation there. So again, the tornado warning is for Wayne County. This is going to continue until 3:15. And so we've got still a little bit of time left here, keeping an eye on any more reports or anything that the National Weather Service is communicating with us here. But I'm going to go ahead and circle this area that we're still watching for the kind of strongest rotation. Again, the good trend here is that it's been broadening up. It's not quite as strong, not quite as tight as it was just a little bit ago, but it is still strong enough that we have to keep a very close eye for any sort of tornado development here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and put a track on this and give you another idea of who is next in line to see this. Now, looking at, just taking a look at Google Maps, a lot of farmland in this, within this area here with towns like Bethlehem, Confidence, Melrose, Tyrone. So if you are in any of those towns, start to move into your tornado safe space as this area of rotation moves northeast. But if you know anyone that is on any of that farmland or any of those farm homes, if you know them, give them a call. Make sure that they are in their tornado safe space and just let them know that this storm is going to be coming their direction. And again, this is all throughout Wayne County here. So going to continue to watch this area of rotation as it moves off to the northeast. But we have got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and just the one tornado warning at this time.
Yeah, in multiple areas of rotation, Joe, thank you so much. And I'll show you here on the radar picture momentarily, but this is a look outside on our Knoxville Sky Tracker 5, looking towards that severe thunderstorm as it moves into Jasper County, looking dark and ominous there. No official reports really coming in. Everything's been pretty quiet in that report, or that aspect so far, outside of something unconfirmed that there is some damage down into Creston from a previous thunderstorm that moved through. That was actually, there was no severe thunderstorm warnings at the time. That's why we're working to vet it for you. Now, taking a look at the velocity signal here, there's multiple areas of rotation. I would say our tornado warned storm has really washed out. The broadness of it, that's good. There's still some strong inbound winds in there. Let's wait for this next cycle to punch through. Yeah, more of the same. I'd actually be watching down here south and east of Clio. South of Corden, south of Allerton, north of York. That looks to be another area of interest. Fairly strong inbound winds out of that cell in northeastern Appanoose County, and then southwest of Albia as well. That one's trying to cycle around in here too. That storm is severe thunderstorm warning, so heads up in Albia for that. And I know we do have some chasers in that vicinity, and we'll continue to keep a tab on that for you. So I'm not seeing anything piquing the interest that's saying we need to take any of our chasers, but we are no doubt watching that for you, and we'll bring them on with you if we see that ominous look to things. That tornado warning down into Wayne County. This continues for officially another 28 minutes, Joe, but I think we're going to see this storm come out of this warning box within the next few minutes.
Yeah, we will. And at this time, National Weather Service has not mentioned anything as far as extending any sort of tornado warning or issuing another down the line. However, even with that being said, there is still, at least a decent amount of rotation with that cell as it continues moving to the northeast. So Bethlehem Confidence, make sure you're getting into your tornado safe space right now. There's that area of rotation there, continuing to move off to the northeast. So eventually here we're going to be watching places like Tyrone, Melrose, Russell, these areas here up along Highway 34 as this storm continues to just show that sign of that rotation. But we have multiple different areas that have some rotation with it. And so another area that we're watching here is one that is it's all the way south of Allerton and Cordon, where the original tornado warning that we have right now in Wayne County is it's another storm and another part of this kind of what's beginning to kind of congeal into almost a line of sorts, not quite a squall line by any stretch, but it is kind of starting to come together at least a little bit here. Do want to give you a circle of just where that rotation is here. Going to continue watching this moving off to the northeast as well. Put a track on it here.
Joe, by far, that's the best rotation I'm seeing on the map right now.
I would agree. I would agree with you. And this may end up being that kind of next tornado warned cell. So with that being said here, let's get a track on the kind of center of this rotation. So again, some similar cities going to be showing up in this here. Harvard, Seymour, Plano, going to continue to I would say right as of this moment here, I would say get into your safe space if this area of rotation, if you're within this kind of polygon drawn here, because as Chris just mentioned, this is definitely the strongest rotation that we are seeing at this time with any of the cells that are kind of moving on through. So if you go past Plano here, if you're anywhere along Highway 142 north of Plano, kind of another area that you need to continue to kind of listen in here. If you know any family and friends that are up along that area, just be sure to reach out, let them know that another area of rotation in this storm is going to be potentially moving into this area within about 25 minutes to a half hour, somewhere around there.
Yeah, Joe, thank you very much for taking over on that. We're working to confirm some damage in Creston. If anyone in Cordon, you're now able to come out from your safe place. That tornadic rotation is now well to your north and east. If anyone, of course, safety is first and foremost, but if anyone has a report to pass along with us, picture or video, we'd love to hear from you. You can just text us at 515-457, that's 1020, 515-457 1026. I'll go ahead and put that up on screen for you. You can text us your reports, and sure be beneficial for those out ahead of these storms for us this evening. So that tornadic circulation is pushing kind of out of the warned areas. So we'll see this warning actually get canceled early. But I do have some growing concerns with other circulations as well, especially that one, as you were mentioning, Joe, in southern Wayne County, just west of Albia. It is broad, but it's looking a little bit stronger now at this point. If we start to see these greens and reds come together, pull together, you see kind of where that gray area is. If we see these pull together, that can be an indication that this is trying to spin up into something tornadic. So as you're looking to the skies, if you are in Monroe County towards Albia, you're likely looking up and seeing that broad rotation, a meso rotating overhead, perhaps even a wall cloud. I can't verify that, but I'm just kind of giving the scenario that we're looking at here overall. So definitely a lot of areas of rotation, but all fairly broad at the moment. Joe?
Yeah, not Yeah, exactly. Some broad rotation out there, but even in the last couple of radar scans here, nothing is any more concerning with that storm that's moving through southern Wayne County right now. Still has rotation with it, but it is it's not quite. We're seeing this in ebbs and flows with these storms right now. We'll have a couple radar scans where it's really tight and it'll continue for a little bit to the northeast, and then it'll become a little bit more broad, but that doesn't mean that it can't tighten right back up as these storms continue crossing northeast. So there's one area that we're watching for, and yeah, the one that is just to the west of Albia really caught my attention and still has my attention right now. Go ahead and circle this, and we'll get a track on this.
Here, Joe, I already have it up, so I'm going to take over and I'll just show you. And I will say that this severe thunderstorm warning over Monroe County, just northwest of Albia, does have the tag of tornado possible. Just heads up for that. I even see a hail signature, too, just north and west of town. Estimated time of arrival basically right now in Albia. That threat is passing by just off the northwestern edge. Not to say it can't hit that northwestern edge of town, so be in your safe place as well. Stay away from windows. That's going to be the best possible way to stay safe in this scenario. Eddyville on down the line is officially outside the warning. Same goes for Oskaloosa, Rose Hill, and Whatcheer. But definitely we can see an area that we are concerned with here out of the cell near Albia. I'm gonna stick with coverage a little while longer, just until we can see how this reacts, because there's some broad but tighter rotation happening there. It looks like we might have a little bit northeast of Unionville as well, though the forcing on it is a little bit juxtaposed, offset a little bit, I should say, with this. But that would be an area to watch. That is also a severe thunderstorm warned cell just to the south of Blakesburg. So passing by Albia, again, if you're there, please be safe. Seek your safe place. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that has that tag of tornado possible in there. Go ahead and get that one sampled. This is it. We're sampling this northern one. There's actually a tag for tornado possible there as well. Let's go ahead and check out the velocity signal and see what we're indicating with this. Where I would be looking, if I'm watching here, is just north of Knoxville. So why don't we go to our Knoxville cam? We can get some heavy rain into Knoxville right now. We're not going to be able to see that. I'm going to actually rotate the camera just a tick. Bear with me 1 second here, folks. I don't think we're going to be able to see anything rain-wrapped, if there were to be some. But that's where I'd be watching, is that area north of Knoxville with this one. There's also 60-mile-per-hour wind potential coming in out of this cell. We haven't hit this one all too hard overall, but this is more of a squall line type of a feature, as this one is moving through Jasper County on down to the south and into Marion County as well, moving to the north and east at 60 miles per hour. That severe thunderstorm warning lasts until 3:15. Tornado possible tag on this severe thunderstorm warning as it enters Wapello County. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning until 3:45. We also have that cell over Marion County. I'm going to have to just go ahead and sample this one manually. Just have too many warnings up on screen. So this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3:30. Radar indicated a severe thunderstorm, and that's been kind of possessing some rotation for a while. And then southern Wayne and into Appanoose County, severe thunderstorm warning until 3:30. A lot of tornado possible tags out here on the radar picture, and for good reason too. There's some decent rotation. I'm going to keep it here for a little while. That one in Wapello County, that's starting to jump off the page just a little bit more, wouldn't you say there, Joe?
Yeah, I would agree with you completely. So This let's go ahead and get a track on this one for you here. Again, this is just severe thunderstorm warning, but that doesn't mean that everything is in the clear, or at least that doesn't mean that things are safer with this one. So there's that area where it kind of jumps off the page a little bit. You notice how bright that color is, that especially the green there. We're going to continue to watch this one moving off to the northeast. Let's get a track on this and give you an idea of who is going to be kind of next in line as it nears the Ottumwa area. Let's go ahead and put this in here. So Ottumwa included in on this. 2:59, so we've got just a couple of minutes here before this starts to move, and this is just now starting to move a little bit north of Ash Grove, but Ottumwa next in line, Ormanville also in there, and just continuing on this northeasterly track. But if you are in Ottumwa right now, and if you know anyone that's in Ormanville as well, I would say just make sure you know exactly what your tornado safe space is wherever you may be located. And this is going to be one that we continue to watch. Even though there is not a tornado warning on this specific cell at this time, that does not mean that this rotation is being taken lightly. As we continue, and over the last couple of radar scans, it's really, really brightened up here. And in fact, just going back a couple of here, Chris, send it back over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. And just to recap things here, we're going to jump off air on Local 5 and KCWI. We are going to continue our coverage over on We Are Iowa Plus. We are streaming on multiple platforms. You can catch us with that continued coverage. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings over southern Iowa over the next 45 minutes to an hour. Wind and hail potential, and we are watching several areas of rotation. If we do see a tornado warning come out and be issued once again, we will be joining you right here again on Local 5 and KCWI. We'll catch you over on We Are Iowa Plus. For meteorologist Joe Farrell, I'm Chris Kubal. Stay safe. Okay, friends, we're still streaming here with coverage. Just lots of areas of rotation that we're watching with this, and just not quite up to the point of seeing that tornado warning being issued. I'd really be watching, this one trying to pucker up a little bit in southwestern Wapello County. Wouldn't you say, Joe?
Yeah, I completely agree. This is, it's kind of, it's been a little bit of an ebb and a flow as far as all these different areas of rotation, that which one becomes more concerning than maybe some of the others. But just giving a little bit of a broader view of radar here. I mean, we've got this one here, this one that is just to the north of Albia, riding right along Highway 137. Just a little bit to the east of Cordon here, and moving towards Centerville. Just all sorts of different areas of rotation within these thunderstorms that continues to kind of come in a little bit stronger, and then the next radar scan, it might kind of move out. So it does make things a little bit tricky, but as far as which one is the strongest at this moment in time, Chris, it still continues to be that one that is just to the southwest of Ottumwa, and it looks as though this storm is heading right for the Ottumwa area. Yeah,
and that has the strongest inbound winds. Thank you very much, Joe, with this one. If we're looking at tornadic circulation, now, we're not saying there's a tornado there at this point, but those are those prospects, if you will, that we are watching. I'll get the auto query off so we can just look at that base warning. I'm just going through a multitude of resources. A multitude of resources here just to see if there's any damage. We've seen several little areas of rotation, but no official word on any damage here. Just checking in with the National Weather Service. Just some new severe thunderstorm warnings at this point. I'll go ahead and loop things. I'll say if you're in the Des Moines Metro, you're clear now. Previously had a severe thunderstorm warning. I haven't heard of any type of damage with that. I'm going to check MPing here real quick and just see if we have anything showing up. No, we don't. I mean, we have some small hail, pea size being reported on MPing. Joe, I'll just say this. If you ever look at an MPing report over by the Iowa State Fairgrounds, it's going to be false. There's someone who sends false MPing reports over there all the time. And they said ping pong ball sized hail, which is just, it's not feasible.
Ping pong ball?
No, it's a false report.
Yeah, that's
it's sad that
it's
that's the way it has to be. Quarter-inch hail in Indianola. Pardon me, I'm just looking down at my phone and checking some of those MPing reports. I don't really have anything else anywhere across southern Iowa. There's a report of maybe some River Creek overflowing into cropland and yard. That's pretty general up in Ames. I wouldn't think that's too extreme. We haven't seen that much rain in the last 24 hours to create significant issues. Now, some ponding, certainly that's going to be the case. I think there's a decent little hail core there southwest of Ottumwa. What do you think, sir?
Yes, and I was, it's funny you say that. I was just about to mention that. Another radar software that we kind of have our eyes on is, showing, and this is radar indicated, that this storm could be producing just over 1.5 inch diameter hail. So you can kind of see, I'll circle it here. This is kind of what we would look at as far as, possibly being that hail core. So this continues to move to the northeast, and this is going to be just a little bit as far as the hail production with this storm, and, potentially producing over that 1 inch sized hail is going to move just in between Chillicothe and Ottumwa as it continues moving northeast, and there's a new tornado warning, Chris.
All right, we need a prep for, can I get confirmation from producers, prep for another long form coverage? Yeah, Joe, where's the warning?
The warning, this is the same cell that we were just talking about, the hail.
Okay.
So this one is, the rotation's really tightened up with this one.
Okay, production, get us ready to go on air again. Let me know when we're good, and keep close track. We have a multitude of streamers there. Grant Leahy, Jordan Hall, and Luke Hatton look like are all on that storm. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Kubal here, tracking severe weather still across southern Iowa. The reason we're joining you on Local 5 in KCWI, we have a tornado warning in Wapello County, Ottumwa. Take shelter for a radar-indicated tornado. You see this tornado warning is in place until 4 o'clock. I'm joined by meteorologist Joe Farrell, along with myself, and we have storm chasers out in the vicinity. We are going to be tracking things for you very closely here with them, as well as we have multiple chasers on this cell. The concern here is also going to be for some hail, 1.25 inches in diameter, and this storm is moving to the north and east, and due to impact Ottumwa in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, it's moving to the north and east at 40 miles per hour. So an estimated time of arrival in Ottumwa is at 3:12, Hendrick by 3:29, Packwood by 3:40, and getting out into the eastern edge of the Local 5 area in Keota by 4:02. Now, this is a radar-indicated tornado. We're watching the velocity signals, and just the last time we left you to head solely to our streaming, we were kind of looking at this area of rotation, thinking, oh, this is right on the tipping point of becoming tornado warned, and it certainly appears that is the case. This is kind of where we left you at the last time we talked. That's the way the rotation was looking now as we pull it closer to Ottumwa. Here's what's concerning is right there. That's where the green and the red is touching. We get it brighter. That means the intensity of those winds within the thunderstorm is growing stronger, and we're seeing that rotation overall. There's still other areas of rotational watch, particularly in tracking southwestern Monroe County as well in there, but this is the one that looks to be the most constant at this point. Also in the booth, keep an eye on Willard Sharp too as well. That looks like it could be a viable one. If you see anything, you just let us know and we can take it up for us. So we're working with our chasers in here. Looks like we have a bit of a hail spike. That blue that's coming out here on the backside, that's actually some bad data. And so we likely have some large hail in there. And when the two come in tandem, when we start talking large hail threat and tornadic activity, you have a very strong and robust thunderstorm. As it pertains to the hail, there's some estimates, again, up to about ping pong ball size in nature, 1.25 inches in diameter, and also that tornado threat that is going along with this one. We are flanked with meteorologist Joe Farrell as well. Joe is tracking things as well. Joe, what are you seeing with the velocity as this pulls into Ottumwa?
Yeah, seeing again, this is it's still pretty tight. This where the reds and those greens are coming together here. Put a little circle on this one. So there's that kind of area of the strongest rotation. The storm is moving to the northeast, so this area of rotation is going to be passing right over the top of Ottumwa and right through kind of the heart of the city as we go over the next 5 minutes or so. So if you are anywhere around Ottumwa, be in your tornado safe spot right now as this storm continues to move to the north and the east. And something else I want to mention too, this other radar software that we are kind of keeping our eyes on as well is picking up some pretty good hail on that software too, upwards of 2.5 inches in diameter. Not to say that that's exactly reaching the ground, but that is being shown. I want to get a track on the rotation here and give you all an idea of outside of Ottumwa, as it continues moving northeast, who's kind of the next in line here. So Ottumwa, Compantine, Chris, correct me if I am wrong on any of those. Martinsburg, going to continue moving this northeast direction. So if you are anywhere around Ottumwa, be in your tornado safe spot right now. This area of rotation is moving directly over the city as we speak and will continue to move over the city over the next 5 to 10 minutes. Be in your tornado safe spot, moving to the northeast here. Make sure that if you are northeast of Ottumwa, whether you have family and friends, maybe there's a good amount of farmland. There's some rolling hills kind of around here too, especially with some of those rolling hills. Not a storm that you want to actually try and go outside and try to find or try to see, because rolling hills blocks that view. You don't want to take any risks with that in that regard. So this storm will continue moving northeast at around 40 to 45 miles per hour. And Chris, we're going to continue to keep an eye on some of our chasers as well as they kind of try to get on the tail of this storm.
Yeah, and in the booth, do you have Grant Leahy? If you want, you can pull that up. You just let me know when you get that up, and we'll go ahead and take a look.
From where we're at, that's why I want to get east.
Here in just a second.
As long as we get east of it, then we're going to be clear to see it pretty well.
On this cell in Ottumwa, you can see a little bit of a lowering there on the right side of that image.
Lots of lightning uptick. That's another sign of tornado production usually too.
Watching here very
We've got a couple of those things going for us. Lightning uptick's not like super crazy for tornadoes, but it's kind of one of those main things that a lot of people like to mention. I don't know. I always like to look at it, but it's not an insanely crazy thing. But it does point at a little bit of a stronger storm. I guess it means more of a stronger updraft and stuff. So in theory, it can mean more tornado potential. But I like to think of it as an indicator of potential for tornadoes increasing.
That's what we have. Go ahead and just
especially when your storm's already tornado warned and it's been like trying to produce, but then it like gets a lightning uptick and you're kind of like, oh, it's actually intense. What if we're going to get any sort of
big time hail out of this?
I wonder if these storms to the west are trying to interact with this storm, or if they will at some point. Because I wouldn't be surprised if this storm, someone said funnel cloud at 307. 20 miles out of southwest. That's not a very good report when there's hundreds of people nearby.
Large hail. So heads up for that on the northwestern side of Ottumwa, along with the tornado risk. We're going to be watching this one for you very closely. Okay, so let's go back to that stream. This is the area we're watching, kind of watching the inflow come around there from the left to right as we look into it and kind of into the screen. So that's what's feeding into the storm here. And they're out in the field watching this very closely, and we're going to be doing it as well. So, Joe, do you have any sort of update for us? What's going on right now?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of looking at this hail core here. As you mentioned, Chris, very large hail beginning to kind of showcase itself on this here. And I just want to kind of give you an idea of the hail right now. So this is going to be kind of crossing over the business Highway 63 area in Ottumwa. And if you want a couple markers, this is going to be like where the Quality Inn is on this side of Ottumwa here on this northwest side of town. Quality Inn and Best Western Ottumwa Inn and Suites. There are just a couple of different landmarks there. If you know where those are at, if you're around Ottumwa in your head, that's where that hail is going to be kind of coming down, and the largest hail going to be coming down here. Also want to put a track on this storm as it continues to move off to the northeast. We're watching not just the large hail, but we're watching the rotation of this storm very closely as well, because this storm is still tornado warned. So here are some of the locations that are going to be seeing this storm. Now, if you are to the kind of on the northwest side of this polygon here, this is where the hail core is more going to be tracking. What I have tracked in the center is more of where that rotation is going to be. And if this storm continues on this track to the northeast, this is where we're going to be seeing some of the rotation as far as the center of rotation, passing over some of these areas through 340. So through the next half hour here, just under a half hour, as this storm continues to track off to the northeast. And just to give you a quick reminder here, this tornado warning does remain until 4 o'clock. So we have got a ways to go with this one. And Chris, this might be a situation where this storm moves out of the tornado warned area pretty quickly here, and they may or may not extend another one out to the northeast.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that for you very, very closely as well, Joe. I will do that as well as we go forward. So at this moment, we do have a tornado warning with a huge hail signature near Ottumwa that we are going to be tracking along with you. Joe, can you take over here 1 second while I switch sources for me?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got the focus here on the area of rotation, and there's that tornado warning, and that rotation is right over the top and starting to move just northeast of the kind of city center of Ottumwa at this moment in time. And so I want to just give you the circle of this here, and it's all moving to the northeast. So on the northwest side of this area of circulation is where the largest hail, or at least the hail core of this storm, has been. And we've been picking up and seeing on another radar software that we use of upwards of 2 to 2.5 inch diameter hail possible with this storm. So this will continue moving to the northeast, crossing over Highway 63 just to the northeast of Ottumwa as we speak right now. So this is moving towards Compantine, and we're also going to see this if you're in Compantine or Hedrick. Just find that tornado safe space and be in it right now, because this storm continues to show signs of very strong rotation. And want to give you a track on the rotation itself again here as this continues north and east. So here are some of the next locations in line for this area of rotation in this storm. It's just going to continue the tornado warning until 4 o'clock. So if you are anywhere within this polygon drawn here, be in your tornado safe space. And if you're well out ahead of this, get ready to go, just in case you need to find that safe space quickly.
Yeah, and we're still tracking the stream here with Grant as he's kind of repositioning. You can see the darkness into that thunderstorm coming into view. We'll get back to that when we get a better direction on it. Big hail signature kind of being hinted at with this one, with that spike coming out of it. We're also watching that area of rotation, as Joe has been telling you about as well. This is the healthiest, most robust storm that we have at the moment, and the reason why is it's isolated. Yesterday, if you remember, I was telling you discrete supercells, and this is the epitome of that. This storm is sitting here by its lonesome at the moment, and it is really given us the opportunity to fuel itself with that unimpeded flow of warm air to the south and east of it. There's no question that's the reason why this cell is the most impressive at the moment. So it does look like the velocity signal has kind of toned things down ever so slightly. So it's not as bright right next to each other, but it is right next to each other, right there. So just to the north of Ottumwa, northeast of Ottumwa, and moving out towards that Compantine. Highland Center area, Hedrick, that's the area we need to watch. I'll actually sample that for you. It's going to show you the gate-to-gate shear. It's at 51 miles per hour, so rotating very tight right there. And you remember that video we showed you earlier from Grant out in the field. It had a little bit of a lowering, and that's kind of the area we watch for that tornadic potential to drop down. But that's why this storm is so strong at the moment, because it is by itself. Joe?
And Chris, yeah, that tornado warning, they did issue another one downstream of this of this cell. So
why don't you take us through it?
Yeah, so here's the extended tornado warning here. This now includes Jefferson, Keokuk, and Washington counties. And so the rotation of this storm, and given where this storm is right now in comparison to the line of storms that's a little bit behind this one on its own, out ahead of everything. So this will more than likely continue as it moves northeast to kind of give that strongest sign of rotation. And this storm also, kind of at the bottom of the screen there, you can see that this is also potentially producing hail up to 2 inches in diameter. And it's going to be right in this pink area here. That's where that hail is going to be. But the rotation is just a little bit to the southwest, or the southeast rather, of that where that hail is going to kind of be coming down, or at least the hail core within this storm. So I want to look at the velocity now and give you the latest on how this kind of looks. And still an area of pretty tight rotations, kind of right on the
there he is.
Yeah, right on the edge of two radar sites going in between Des Moines, and I'm guessing this other one would be the Quad Cities. But nonetheless, let's get a track on kind of the area of rotation here and where this is tightest. This is going to continue moving off to the northeast as the tornado warning has been extended and redrawn to be out ahead of this storm here. So Compantine up to Ollie by the time we get to 340 here, so we got about 20 minutes. But still, if you are anywhere within this polygon, this area of rotation is going to be crossing over Iowa Highway 149. You're within probably we've got about 10 minutes before it crosses over there. Compantine, you need to be in your safe space right now. If you're anywhere along Highway 149, north and east of Compantine. You need to be in your safe space as we speak. Ollie, be ready to get into your safe space, tornado safe spot very soon here, because this storm will and has continued to be the strongest in terms of rotation, and therefore kind of the most concerning as far as tornado production and the potential for that. Something I want to bring up here is...
Hey, Joe, real quickly, just want
Yes.
to interrupt. We've heard a report of some very large hail near Ottumwa. I can't verify the size of it, but it's large. It's, it about the size of in the palm of a hand. So we're seeing that huge spike come off this storm, a huge signature as well.
Yeah, and Chris, actually, I'm going to send it back to you. Willard Sharp, is that who I'm thinking of here? His stream actually has a pretty decent view of this cell.
All right, we want to get it up there in the back. Do we have that? I think we do. Why don't we go ahead and just take it up? Okay, so this is Willard out chasing for us today on that cell into Wapello County, following it here as it continues to move through and up to the north and to the east. Again, we've heard some huge hail coming out of this, and I'll say just tracking on my radar product just off screen that you can't see is suggesting up to 3 inches in diameter right now. So up to baseball-sized hail out of this, and just a grotesque scatter spike coming out. I'll take you back to the radar picture here real quick just so you can see that huge mammoth spike coming out of that. That is what we call a third body scatter spike, and basically the radar beam is struggling with the signal being bounced back and forth through there. So this is looking up into the teeth of the storm. This would be that rotating meso. You can see the rotation there running left to right across your screen. That's in the foreground. So we're looking up into this storm from the southeast of it. So we're watching for those lowerings. I don't see anything completely obvious, but then again, it could also be wrapped up in that rain. I do think I see something a little bit trying to poke down there in the distance. What do you think there, Joe?
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well.
Okay.
I'm coming up closer to our screen by me.
Yeah, we're continuing to monitor things. Reports of some large hail. Officially, I just received a report of 1-inch hail out of the west side of Ottumwa, but we're working to verify the credibility of it. But we've heard of some even larger hail of that, and we're seeing radar indications pointing to something maybe closer to 3 inches in diameter. So this is just a beast of a storm right now that we're continuing to track. I'm going to put that stream into the corner. I'm going to drive the radar a little bit for you. This storm is still moving to the north and east, and what it's doing is moving at about 45 miles per hour now. So I'll go ahead and put a track. This is going to get it up into Keokuk County. We'll continue to cover this one as it does extend to the north and east through Keokuk County. Estimated times of arrival, it may end up being a little bit quicker than some of the times here by a minute or two. But here's what we're expecting. Compantine by 3:27 in the next couple of minutes. If this one continues to hold 4 o'clock into Keota, just a beast of a cell right now as we continue to watch. Willard out there working for us in northeastern Wapello County and extending up into Keokuk County as well. So this is just a beast of a supercell. It is very, very strong at the moment. Pardon me with my wrong button push there. But we have a trailing line as well to watch. This has seen some areas of rotation trying to spin up in it, but nothing that's really jumped off the page at needing anything with a tornado warning. So there will likely be some gusty winds in there with this flanking line running from about Oskaloosa to Albia and Centerville. Some gusty winds and potentially even some hail up to 1 inch in diameter. But the clear strongest cell is now over Wapello County. Just briefly, I want to show you just how the thunderstorm energy is shaping up. And you can see that we're seeing it limited to southeastern Iowa. Now, essentially, if you are north or west of this, I will say if you are west of this pink line right now, you are in the clear of severe weather. So that would include the Des Moines Metro. You even get back towards Corden, Sheraton, Knoxville, up through Newton and beyond Marshalltown. You're fine. We'd be watching into this sector with the greatest thunderstorm energy to work with at our disposal. Still some pretty big hail with this discrete supercell northeastern Wapello County getting into Keokuk County. As it moves to the north and east at about 45 miles per hour. Joe?
Yeah, it looks like just looking at where that largest hail could potentially be coming down right now, or at least the locations that could be seeing it shortly. There's a lot of farmland kind of in between Martinsburg and Hedrick. So that's kind of the location that the hail looks to be moving towards currently. But I do want to bring up the velocity as well, since this storm is tornado warned. Let's get another look at the latest velocity scan here. So the rotation is still present, and it is, maybe not quite as tight, but we're also kind of on the edge of two different radars here. So we may be seeing the radar beam kind of shoot a little bit higher into this storm. And from some of the streams that we've been able to keep an eye on, we have seen a lowering of that cloud kind of at the center of this storm. So still want to put a track on this. I'll take off the warning polygon here, and I'll put a track on the rotation. We're going to continue to see this storm moving off to the northeast, and actually, Chris, are we bringing up another stream here?
Yeah, we're going to take it back up here, and we'll show you. This is going back to Grant. He is on that cell as it crosses into now Keokuk County, just getting a sense on where he is right now. Yeah, he's kind of riding in southern Keokuk County right now, looking back on this. Some reports of egg-sized hail back into Ottumwa as well, and we've even heard of some activity just a little bit more than that. So we're continuing to track this very closely, kind of looking up into that thunderstorm there. Looks like it was Apple Boulevard there, so I believe that's the southernmost road there, or maybe northernmost road into Wapello County. But either way, this is a look at that tornado warning right now as it moves to the north and east at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. There are some trailing thunderstorms as well, some broad, but still some rotation noted in here. And all this light green that I'm encircling with the arrow right here, that is actually all bad data. So that's caused by hail. So we have that rotation going into view right there. So we'll continue to track that for you as we continue on here. This tornado warning. Joe, hop in here. How long does that warning go for us?
Yeah, so that tornado warning goes until... So the first one that was issued will remain until 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
but
4 o'clock as well.
Yeah, for this next one too. This storm is moving along at a pretty good pace, and moving along to the northeast at a good rate. So let's bring this back to velocity here. Also keeping an eye on what kind of hail this thing is producing. So here's that area of strongest rotation here. It's kind of right in here. This is moving right over, which highway do I got here? This is, I can't quite tell. That's okay.
You can use the query tool and sample it if you'd like.
Yes, that is part of Highway 149 and Highway 78 there. So that's what that's where the area of rotation is moving over right now. This is going to start approaching Ollie right here within the next couple of minutes. If you're in Ollie, make sure you are in your tornado safe space up towards Kyoto. Make sure you are in your tornado safe space too, because this storm is coming your direction. And let's get a track on this and give you a better idea some of the locations kind of next in line here. Harper by 354 and Kyoto there by 358. So anywhere within this polygon, especially in the center here, that's kind of what the rotation looks to kind of track right near the center of this, which would put Ollie and Kyoto right within that. But on the northwest side is where we are seeing and have had some of the reports of some of the larger hail that this storm is producing as well. So this continues to be the storm that is out ahead of the trailing line, and this storm has been very impressive for quite a bit of time now, Chris. It's really held together and continues to show its intensity.
Yeah, and that last scan too is a little bit more intense as we have jumped back to Grant's live feed as he's still on this storm as it moves into southern Keokuk County. I am watching some other elements of this, and it's not up on the screen right now, but I do believe we've seen a bit of a lowering of a wall cloud in there as well. But we are still tracking this. That velocity signal is definitely something that has ramped up in the last couple of scenes. You can see that that brightness here, but I believe that is influenced a little bit more by the hail that's punching through, kind of contaminating things, but it does line right up there. No, actually, excuse me, pardon me, we are now out of the Davenport National Weather Service site. So that is not what I believe could be some side lobe contamination on it. But either way, it's a decent little shot at some rotation there. Iowa Highway 78 and Ollie at the moment. So continuing to track that for you closely. We'll work on getting that feedback for you. This one's southeastern Keokuk County, and we'll continue to track this one as it moves north and west of Richland. And this one's been producing some big hail too. We've seen some estimates on radar suggesting something as high as 3 inches in diameter. And I believe I've seen a picture. I don't have the access to show it to you, but I believe I've seen a picture showing about the same size at that. Joe?
That is very large hail. Yeah, this storm absolutely has been very, very impressive to this point in time. So something I do want to mention here with this kind of the trailing line behind this particular supercell. It's currently severe warned, but we're not expecting this as it continues to move to the east and the northeast. Not expecting that to, really explode or gain in a lot of strength as it continues to move that direction. What we are really focused on here is this one that is still on its own, by itself, out ahead of this trailing line that will continue to have the most energy to use in the atmosphere. And it really has been using that energy to the fullest extent. We're keeping an eye on some of our chaser streams as well. Let's get a new track on this. This is a very quick mover. This storm is. So if you are anywhere within any of these locations that kind of pop up here, Ollie moving over right now. Be in your tornado safe spot, and hopefully you were in that tornado safe spot minutes ago. That's moving over Ollie right now. Kyoto by the time we get to 357 here. So if you're anywhere out ahead of this storm, find that tornado safe space, because not only is that going to keep you safe in a situation of a tornado if this one does end up producing one, but it's also going to keep you safe from the hail too. The hail that we have seen with this particular storm has been pretty large, and pretty good sized hail reports coming in around the Ottumwa area. So this storm does not look like it's got a lot of signs of slowing down or rapid weakening or anything of the sort. It's looking like it's going to remain pretty strong.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much. We are looking at the debris detection, see if we can see anything. The deep dark blues, if we were to see a concentric circle, would confirm something happening for us. Still seeing that hail scatter spike. There's some big hail with this storm as it continues to move to the north and to the east through southeastern Keokuk County at the moment. So the warning has been trimmed for northeastern Wapello County, and in fact, you're good to come out of your safe place. If you are anywhere north or east of this cell in Keokuk County, be in your safe place right now. That is going to be your basement, lowest level, interior room, and that's a tight rotation right there I see near Ollie at the moment. So there's also some signal of some stronger wind in there. There may be a bit of contamination. I don't know if I'm quite sold on that 86 mile per hour estimation there by the radar picture. Then there's 17 going around the other way, but if it is, there's some mighty strong rotation. Yeah, I was just looking at that. Producers let me know the feed in the booth. So this is kind of looking up into it. That area that's hanging lower there on the right would be that area to watch for something dropping down. We'll go ahead and leave this on screen there. So this would be near Ollie. Richland, stay in your safe place anywhere up Highway 77 towards Keota, and south of Highway 92 as well. So getting into southeastern Keokuk County. Oh my goodness, I wish they didn't have to turn.
The structure on that was impressive.
Yeah, it's going to come back here in just a second. We'll get a chance to see that once again. New radar scan coming in showing something a little bit more broad now on the scan. I think we're looking at the meso kind of wrapping around into this, Joe. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me as well.
Right above that farm right there would be the area of interest, perhaps back into the rain a bit. Difficult to see. By all means, we haven't heard of anything reaching the ground. Production, can you work on getting that picture of hail in, and we can pull that up on the screen as well. Just I'll come back on to my radar image if you want to get that prepped. But that storm we were looking at, the rotation is basically right over Ollie right now in southeastern Keokuk County and pushing to the north and to the east. So this is it's a potent thunderstorm, and it still has that huge signal for hail, in my opinion, and this has had a long track now of producing hail ever since it was just west of Ottumwa. I get the hail tracks up here that we've seen in the last 60 minutes, and you could look at that swath. I'll even sample that kind of bright purple region, 3 inches in diameter. So that was the estimates as it moved through. And we have seen some pictures that would suggest something up that large, and we have a picture that we're working to get up with you. Go ahead and pull it in out of the Teams feed if you can for me, and just throw it on that web PC if you don't mind, and we'll get that up. But yeah, first and foremost is the tornado threat, but also hail coming in out of the cell over southeastern Keokuk County. Joe?
Yeah, I'm trying to seeing if I can bring up one of the kind of a future hail.
Scroll the timeline out through time at the top of your screen.
There we go.
Take it all the way to the right. That'll be future.
So just given with this data, trying to show that maybe won't keep the hail as large as it has been. However, not to say that this is 100% accurate. So just showing you where this hail core looks to really pass over, getting up towards Keota here within the next 30 minutes or so, and crossing over Highway 92. So we're going to continue to watch not just the hail with this storm, but also the continuation of some of that rotation. Now, this looks as though this is, again, still a pretty persistent area of where the rotation has been strongest and where it's been tightest within this cell. It's already through Ollie, so if you're in Ollie, give it another couple minutes here and you are safe to come out of your tornado safe space. But this is going to continue moving off to the northeast as we head through the next half hour. So let's get another.
All right, Joe, I'm going to jump in on you here. This is some large hail coming in out of Ottumwa. It looks to be about the size of an egg or a golf ball. So you're looking at 1 3/4 to about 2 inches in diameter. We want to thank Nikki for sharing this with us. Of course, your safety is first and foremost. We want you to be safe in all this, but if you have any pictures or reports you want to share with us, by all means, you can do that. You can text us your reports, the number on your screen, 515-457-1026. We just want to be clear. We want you to be safe and do things in a safe manner when it comes down to it. So tracking the last bit of this tornado warning as it continues to pulse through southeastern Keokuk County. Joe Farrell's walking the wall out there. I'm here in the cockpit driving the radar here behind the scenes and keeping tabs on the streams pulling up off to my side. This tornado pushing through the southeastern part, or tornado warned storm, I should say, through the southeastern part of Keokuk County to the north and east at about 45 miles per hour. We've seen some of the velocity signatures. This is a strong signal coming in. I am actually going to take myself off here. If we can get that PC feed back on Grant, if we can, I'll go ahead and take that. We'll get our chaser back up because he's on this, watching this. I believe that's a very strong signal for seeing something tornadic there northwest of Richland. Talleyrand, Keota, be in your safe places, please. All right, 1 second. I'll go ahead and pull that up in the corner. Now full screen. Oh, looks like we might have a little something trying to drop out there on the right.
Yeah, looks like it.
We'll have to continue to watch this. So for now, radar indicated, but it looks like we might have something trying to dip out. So it doesn't appear to be in the rain right now, so that's good news. And still up in the air, but something's trying to dip down there on the right-hand portion of your screen. So the latest velocity signal was really coming in tight.
That's probably the most impressive velocity signal we have seen so far today.
I do wonder if there is some contamination there of the side lobe in what I've seen on my velocity I've been showing you, but still, either way, that has been, and the next scan comes in a little bit weaker, but it's still a signal that bears watching. I think we had a little bit of a funnel dipping down there on that right side of that system. All right, I am going to put that back into the corner. And I'll tell you, when we have these streams up, unfortunately it means that you can't see me in the moment, but I promise you I am here tracking things, driving the radar with you. We get through the next 15 minutes or so, and this carries out of our coverage area, and then I would ask you to tune in to our sister station WQAD in the Quad Cities for extended coverage. We'll continue to track things as well right here with you on Local 5 until this tornado warning wraps up, and we'll keep that streaming going on We're Iowa Plus as well to continue on. But yeah, southeastern Keokuk County is the most robust threat at the moment. I'm going to pull up the NROT if I can find it here real quick. And we'll show you how the rotation has been looking at least recently. So it's still kind of being detected as weak, if you will. Typically when we climb that legend you see underneath shear detection, that's something with growing concern. But I believe we got a funnel there in the last couple of minutes northwest of Richland with some of the stronger returns on velocity. So continue to be in your safe place. That's low level interior room in southeastern Keokuk County as we continue on through the next 10-15 minutes. That will run you through the duration of this tornado warning as we get to the top of the hour. So this warning is still officially radar indicated at the moment. There is a strong surge in the downdraft rushing down, and I think based on the structure that we've seen here with this cell, that would be indicated based on the imagery that we saw from out in the field. It looks like that downdraft was running pretty hot. There's still a decent hail signature coming in. I'm still seeing a hail spike, and some of the indications here with the latest data is not quite up to baseball size, which we've heard reports of, but still up over 1 inch in diameter, and that's going to efficiently do some damage as well when we start talking about hail being up to that size. So last little bit, Joe, remind me if you know offhand how strong this or how fast this storm was moving.
This storm was moving at, I believe it was around 45 miles per hour.
All right. 45. We will go ahead and do that. We'll put last little bit of a track on this. And I'm going from the area of rotation here that we have with this storm. Wellman by 407, Kelowna at 415. So that gets us out of the local 5 coverage area. And eventually closer to Iowa City if this one continues to hold by 4:35. So we're watching this one for you. I still believe there is a tornado threat with this. It's been stronger at times, it's been weaker at times, but we still have that signal as I'm backing you up in time to watch how this one has progressed. We start to push this one to the east. You get over towards Washington. We'll be out of the local 5 area and watching this last little line pushing through. There is still a severe thunderstorm warning for Appanoose and Davis County. That is going to be for wind. With this cell, radar indicated at the moment 60-mile-per-hour wind out of this one. And then an additional strong thunderstorm re-entering towards Wapello County, fresh off of this discrete supercell into eastern Keokuk County. So it's been an active afternoon. We've been here streaming all afternoon and right here with you on Local 5. We'll track this a little bit with you. We want to continue to stress be safe in southeastern Keokuk County. If anyone, especially behind who's already seen these storms coming through, if you have any reports you want to share with us, just text it to us. It's as simple as shooting us a text at 515-457-1026, and we would be grateful to share any reports that do come in to us. So we're into the final minutes of this tornado warning. Unsure if this will be extended any longer, but you can clearly see that strong kidney bean action going on right through there. This is the inflow that is feeding up into this storm at the moment. So not a viable feed to take at the moment, so we'll keep it just purely on the radar picture. But that little mouth, that cave, if you will, is where the thunderstorm is actually getting its energy from. So there is a tornado watch out still for some of the local 5 area, officially till 8 o'clock, but we get to 4:30, 5 o'clock or so. Our severe threat for the day is going to be done. Anyone that is behind this line of storms, stretching from about the Williamsburg area down towards Sigourney to Ottumwa and Centerville, back to the west of this line of storms, we're done. This is an early afternoon event, these storms building over us, and then the transition is going to be how will these storms in southeastern Iowa react and build as they continue on. So it's always been this afternoon the strongest cells being out in front of the main line. This storm originated in northern Missouri, and it's been tornado warned just since Ottumwa, but it has had a hail signature since when it was back into northern Missouri. Yeah, we'll go ahead and pull Grant back up and take a look as he's driving through town. Unsure what exactly town he is in at the moment. Let's see if I can track. Looks like he is in Richland looking up north into this storm. So there's Richland. He's looking up into the storm. The area of concern would be coming out of that tree on the left right there from right behind it. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to telestrate on this for you, but the area feeding it would be on the right-hand portion of your screen. as this pushes out of Keokuk County. Now, it's still solidly a signal there here on the eastern side. I want to stay with you until this threat clears, as our signal does reach into Keokuk County. But right there, that bulbous action at the right side, that would be the inflow going into this thunderstorm. So Grant is traveling north and northeastward, closer to this thunderstorm passing through. No indication that anything has reached the ground. I do believe that we have seen a bit of a funnel coming in out of this, but I did not see any action, Joe. Did you, of that reaching the ground at all?
No, didn't see anything that would indicate to me that it reached the ground. But this cell over the last half hour has really been trying to produce something. And that rotation has been very consistent.
Okay, so hovering just over those barns and the houses there, the farmstead, that'd be the area to watch if we're going to see something drop. The latest rotation, I'm kind of looking at things off screen. There's still a gate-to-gate signal here that something is coming directly together. I'll go ahead and pull that up on screen right near Talleyrand. So as this one is right on the eastern edge on Highway 77 of Keokuk County. So it looks like our friend Grant here might be rounding this bend right here that I'm highlighting on Highway 77. So it looks like the threat is starting to push off east and out of Keokuk County. We'll stay with you for the next couple of moments and watch this one just to see as he gets closer if there's anything. It could be tucked away in the rain if there is something on the ground. But our eyes in the field, our storm spotters and storm chasers, so valuable in situations like this to help keep everyone safe. Local fire department, as you see right here as we pull through that intersection and further to the north. Okay. All right, let's do a quick recap here, and we'll continue the stream on We Are Iowa Plus. The tornado threat is pushing east out of Keokuk County. It is basically right on the county line and moving its way to the north and east at 45 miles per hour. There is still a severe thunderstorm warning as well down into Appanoose and Davis County. This is for 60 mile per hour winds and hail that is sub-severe. This part of the storm is moving to the east at about 40 miles per hour. So we'll go ahead and track this sector for you real quick before we jump off. Let you know who's next in line to see this possible wind. Moulton here very shortly. Drakesville by 4:01. Bloomfield by 4:10. If it continues to hold, that does move out the extent of the severe warned area, but we will continue to track it. The tornado threat is wrapping up and pushing eastward. If you are near Keota, that tornado threat is passing to your south and to the east. Please stay in your safe places for the next couple of minutes, but this tornado warning will officially expire here in the next couple of minutes. That threat is pushing out of Keokuk County. Just one last confirmation and view of it as that happens. The threat we're looking at here is just south and east of town. So we will continue to track things for you here behind the scenes as this last little bit moves through. Our severe window will last for the next hour over southeastern Iowa. I'd watch Keokuk County, Wapello, Davis, and Appanoose from here on out. Back to the west and north, you are going to be in the clear for the rest of the afternoon. For meteorologist Joe Farrell, I'm Chris Kubal. We're going to wrap up coverage here on Local 5. Hope to see you join us on We're Iowa Plus. Okay, Joe, take a breath. Take a breath and take a drink. Not quite done just yet. Hail report coming in northwest of Ollie in Keokuk County of 1.25 inch diameter hail. There's been some big time hail into Wapello County. So,
And just something, interesting, Chris. The sheer distance that this storm, it started just north of Unionville, Missouri, and it's tracked all the way up towards, you see near Washington there. That's 80 miles. That's an 80-mile track for this cell. Pretty, and it's been an impressive one ever since it started.
Yeah, it has been. Joe, you want to take over here for a second while I do a little business here behind the scene?
Yeah, sure can. So, do want to let you guys know that we do continue to have this trailing line behind that, the one major cell that we were watching moving out of Keokuk County just moments ago. But we continue to have this line of storms that is trailing behind it. Now, this is still severe warned, and this severe thunderstorm warning, which does include Appanoose and Davis counties, does continue until 4 o'clock. So we've got about 4 minutes left to go with this severe thunderstorm warning here. And you can see at the bottom of the screen, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and just under quarter-size hail is going to be possible as this continues to the east and a little bit off to the northeast too. And what I want to do is take a little bit of I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. And, oh, it does look like they did extend another tornado warning to that one cell farther northeast as that storm continues. But I do want to focus on this line of storms here. And I want to actually take this and put a little bit of a track here and just going at about 40 to 45 miles per hour to the east here. Here are just some estimated times of arrival for this line of storms. And as we continue over the next about 45 minutes or so, this will continue pushing to the east. Now, something that we're not expecting with this line of storms here is any further strengthening to a point where we start getting concerned with any sort of tornado activity. This is storms that are kind of associated with the cold front with this system that continues tracking through the state of Iowa. So these are the storms that we were not concerned with. It's more of that one supercell that was, started north of Unionville, Missouri, and continued all the way into Keokuk County and continues northeast now. That was more of our concern when in terms of tornado activity, but not to say that this line of storms here can't produce some very strong and gusty winds. And where you see a little bit of a pink in here, this is just a little bit to the east of Ottumwa. This still could produce in this area some small hail. So not severe criteria hail is quarter size or larger, which is 1 inch in diameter or larger. Probably not up to a quarter size hail, but this little pink area here and continuation of a few of those kind of popping up, that is where we could continue to see some small hail being produced by this line of storms as it continues to move to the east. So again, expect some gusty winds as this moves on through and continues east, but also some small hail at times too, especially right now at least, just to the east of Ottumwa, this little pink area here. That's where most likely there is some hail coming down. And also I'm noticing an area that is just a little bit to the west and pretty much straight west and due west of Moulton. Another little spot here where some of that hail could be coming down at this time. But we'll continue keeping an eye on any reports that may come in too.
Good work, Joe. Yeah, it looks like we are just clinging to one severe thunderstorm warning over the northeastern section of Keokuk County at the moment. Just working on getting some crazy hail video out of the Ottumwa area. That was just massive here, Joe. Can you continue to just walk people through here on what's happening?
Yeah, with the tornado warn cell.
Yeah, recap some of the LSRs too that we've had.
Oh yes. Let's
like
bring
that.
up some of those. some of the reports here. So that storm, as it once it started getting into Ottumwa, you see all these hail reports here. We really started to notice that storm was producing some very large hail. The hail core being shown on radar by that was very, very impressive. So let's bring up a couple of these reports. So this was a 1 inch hail report, which is quarter size. Let's get another one brought up here, because I know there was so this one, just under 1.5 inches hail, and that is $half sized hail. Again, right around and within Ottumwa is where we were seeing some of the largest hail there. And gonna bring up another one here. So this one was ping pong ball sized hail. Reported again right around Ottumwa. That storm was really bringing down some of those hailstones. We could see that on radar, showing the kind of just the three-body scatter spike is what it's called, and that's when radar picks up on the hail that was brought down by and dropped by this storm. Gosh, hen egg sized hail. And Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, the picture in the actual viewer photo that we got of the hail, that was around egg sized, correct?
Yeah, that looked to be. Of course, it wasn't official, and I just got some video of just some massive hail. I'm going to work on getting that up here, at least on my end, to share with you, Joe. Forgive me. I may have to log in. I hope I don't, because that'll take forever. All right. Yeah, I need to log in. Give me a moment.
Yeah, no problem. So this was another hail report just south of Hedrick, 1.5 inches hail. So ping pong ball sized hail. That was the main, really, kind of the big kicker with that supercell was the hail that it was producing. But there was a moment in time that we had one of our chasers that we have out there, one of their streams up, and it really did look as though a funnel was trying to be produced by that storm. So the rotation was very consistent all the way from when it moved north of Unionville, Missouri, and into southern Iowa. The rotation really was persistent all the way through, and that storm does continue to track to the northeast. And if you want to tune into live coverage of that tornado warning, our sister station, WQAD, is going to continue covering that cell as it moves to the northeast. I want to bring radar back up again here.
Hold up here. I got that video. It's a little glitchy, but you can see this is out of Ottumwa. You can't really tell exactly how big those hailstones are as they're falling to the ground, but they appear to be pretty large, and you can see all the splashing, and it's covering the ground. So this being shared with us from Briar Wallace in Ottumwa.
Gosh,
that's some big hail. That's some big hail. So, all right, we are going to jump off the stream. We're going to keep the radar looping for you until this completely clears the local 5 area, but we're seeing the last little bit in northeastern Keokuk County with some possible 60-mile-an-hour winds. I'm not sold that is occurring at the moment, so we're going to just get back to the looping radar. I do appreciate you joining us here on Local 5 and We Are Iowa Plus as we track severe weather across southern and southeastern Iowa this afternoon. For meteorologist Joe Farrell, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Kuhlbaugh. Thank you so much for joining us today.